How are you, y'all?
All right. How are you?
Oh, I am like, I have way too many. I don't eat sweets. So I went to Le Sucre, which is one of my clients and also local here in Wilsonville. They're in the Charbonneau area. Great people. Well, the fun part is I got to get there during happy hour. So everything I got was half off. So I got more than I needed to get. The first thing that I chose, which I'm probably not going to touch today, is this coffee cake. It just looked way too pretty. I couldn't pass it up, so I had to bring that home. Then, of course, I was trying to find something that was very light and airy, and so panna cotta. So this is a vanilla panna cotta, and then as I was looking at pairings, one of the things that came up was pecan pie. Well,
that's a Texas pie.
Yes, and it's so dense and heavy that I'm like, do I really want this? And what they had, I took a picture of the name of it. Let me get it for you because yes, it is pecan. However, it is not a pecan pie. It's a mocha pecan tart.
Okay, now I looked at many tarts to do, and I didn't. I fought for pie, and I do mean fought to find pie. I went to two bakers who said, "Oh no, you have to pre-order it." I didn't pre-order it, all right, because they were closed on Sunday, and I would have had to think about it on Friday, and I didn't.
Yeah, with a lot of places, I mean, I do have quite a few bakeries around here that I could reach out to, and I can get by the slice a lot of different things. It is not Marionberry season. That is the you can't find Marionberries other than Oregon, and that's usually from June to August, July, August. And when you find Marionberries here, they are everywhere. Yeah. But it's not that time of year, and I would have had to have gotten a frozen one, which then I have to thaw it out. It's a whole process, and I don't need an 18-inch pie because I just don't. I don't eat sweets.
Well, our if you remember, our rules were we couldn't go buy frozen stuff and just heat it up. We had to get fresh.
Yes.
Bakery. Now there was a cheat into it in the fact that we could use our local grocery store's fresh bakery, not their stuff all right. Because I went to two bakeries, and by the way, the pie shop I looked up was closed on Mondays. It frustrated me because I didn't go. Again, if I'd known, I would have gone ahead of time. And they were about a 40-minute ride from me. So, but I found one that was a bakery, which I miss. That's one thing that's not around anymore. The old-fashioned bakery.
Right.
It's just not. I remember as a kid, there was a dozen bakery stores. All right, especially in the Northeast. Could not find, I think, 3 in the area. I did think about going to now because I was in Denton, and we have the Texas famous Buc-ee's.
Okay.
And I did think about going to see if Buc-ee's had pies because Buc-ee's has a lot of things that they do, and I would have thought, well, they probably would have a pecan pie. I didn't. The place I went to, the bakery I found, did not have pecan pie. They only had cherry, pumpkin. They had a cream pie. I was not getting pumpkin, and I did not want the cream pie because it was not the right cream pie. I got cherry instead, which I love cherry pie.
Okay,
so it is my favorite. See, beautiful cherry pie.
Nice.
All right, and then. The thing we actually put down, and I mean, I actually texted Gladys yesterday to double down to remember because I forget half the time until Sunday before when I'm at the grocery store going, what was I supposed to get?
Right.
Anyway, I did find something in my stash I had at home that was is a dessert wine, and this is from a winery over in Fort Worth called Cowtown Winery.
All right. Oh, Texas Gold. I got to get a picture of that.
Cherry chocolate wine.
Oh.
Now we've gone to this place. It is over in the Stockyards area that they have their tasting room. All right. And it is a great winery. I mean, they have a lot of great wines, which I look through my rack and I've gone through every one of the ones I bought and brought home from there.
Okay.
And you want to know if I went there, I came home with at least a case. Every time I come home with a case from a winery, I always do. If I have to mix and match, make a case. The other thing I've always had in my refrigerator is I always get dessert wines. I find them and keep them. And this was in my refrigerator in my office. Was this one here? It was
Okay. Essencia. So it's
an orange muscat.
Okay.
That 2021, the quandary is a thing. It says it's a California orange muscat dessert wine, and it is made in Madera, 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 California.
Madeira. Okay.
Yeah. Quandary Winery, QUADY winery.com. So I don't know where I got it from. I could have picked it up in my local store for all I know, but it was in my refrigerator and it was unopened. So and that is the white orange muscat, and this is the chocolate, which is a red.
Oh, that looks beautiful. So what I had was this plum wine, Hoshi, which was a gift, and I had this and I went, well, all natural plum flavors. It is from Sanger, California. It is 11% alcohol by volume. And it is, but the funny thing is, even though it's from Sanger, California, it was bottled in Minnesota. So from Prestige Beverage Group. So it has natural flavors. It is slightly sweet with almond and juice plum flavors served at chill. So it was in the fridge. And this is what that looks like. Look at that pretty color. Has a really pretty color, and it is sweet, but it's not overly sweet. Well, one of the things that, of course, I forgot. Oh my goodness! Now that I think about it, it's up there. I have to get it. When I was looking at what to pair, Old Fashioned was one, and when I was talking to the staff member over at Le Sucre, she said, "Ooh," when I said, "Ooh, that panna cotta looks good." After I had said, "Well, I'm definitely taking this because coffee cake is so delicious," and it was the last one. When I said panna cotta, she said an espresso martini, and I was like, "Ooh, well, I have decaf because I am not going to have an espresso martini this late. I will be up. I'm already up late. I don't need coffee or caffeine to keep me up. So I have a decaf, so I will make that. And then Old Fashioned is the other. And then, of course, the plum wine. So I'm like, I was trying to play with what would go with what. And one of the other things, there was an Old Fashioned panna cotta recipe that you're adding whiskey and bitters to the panna cotta. And then you layer on top of it the whiskey with the brandied cherries. Now, I wouldn't do brandied cherries, but I would do like just the Luxardo cherries. I would put those on top, and it looks so pretty. So I thought, well, I could always move a little bit of this to over here and then experiment. So I have that experiment that I will be trying because I think that'll be fun. The Old Fashioned will go with this chocolate pecan tart. What I was told is that it is very yummy. She does not like overly sweet either. And then at the bottom is where the pecans are with that caramel. And she said it is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to take her word for it. Again, I'm not a big sweets eater, so this is going to be quite interesting. The one other thing that I did grab that is going to be a gift is, which I'll have to show, is a coconut little macaroon. So that I'm like going, I'm going to save that. So that's going to be a little gift. I asked her to put it separately. They do it so lovely, the way that they put everything in little boxes, that it's just makes everything feel so special.
Yeah.
So, my coffee, I think, has chilled enough, so I'm going to try to make that. One of my friends, who's also an owner of 4 Black Bear Diners, she makes a delicious espresso martini. So does another one of my friends, is a real estate agent, and they do put the little coffee beans on top and all the things. So the last time I had one was I don't know, fall of last year. So I haven't had one because I just don't want an espresso martini in the afternoon because it's going to keep me up. So we shall see how I do, because it is not something that I normally would make. So I'm going to be playing with this right now. And let me see if I can find my recipe here. Bear with me as I look, because I know I had it. Okay, so an espresso martini is 2 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of coffee, espresso coffee, chilled, 1/2 ounce of coffee liqueur, such as Kahlua, which I do have, simple syrup, ice cubes, and then the 3 beans. However, if you wanted creamier, what you can do is put something like First City Country Cream Liqueur. So if I put this in, I'm not going to be putting in any simple syrup, because this is going to be sweetened up, but it's going to give it that creaminess. So I'm going to actually go that route and put the First City, because that was my thought, is I want it kind of creamy. It'll be kind of fun. My martini glass should be chilled. I did not chill it because my office martini glass is at the office, and the martini glass here is up here. So I'm going to have to get it. So bear with me 1 minute. One way too chilly glass, I told you I'll just put ice in it, let it sit for a bit. So while I make it, I'm going to add some ice to it. So bear with me as I. Oh, and the other thing I pulled out was a pear brandy. So I thought that would be kind of fun. I don't think I'm going to have any of this, but just to bring it out to show there are various ways you can have dessert, because I'm not a big dessert eater, but I'll have something after dinner, a nice little sit down and just digestive. So,
Well, dessert wines are, I went with the dessert wines. Dessert wines are something that are very unique. They're sweet.
Yes.
They really don't go with a meal. They really go with a dessert. And almost always they're ice or they're cold. They're not a warm wine. All right. They're not one that you would drink room temp. So you always have them chilled. I usually would have 2 or 3 bottles of our favorite winery in California, which is Saddleback. I usually have 2 or 3 of their dessert type wines. They're and they only taste good chilled. They don't taste good unchilled. All right, so yeah, but
yeah, that's very true. Anything that's that sweet, you do need it chilled. Otherwise, it just does not have the same flavors to it. And of course, I have.
And I don't drink. Yeah, that's the other thing is I don't drink a lot of it either. A dessert.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not going to drink like a glass of wine like you would a Chardonnay or a Cab if you were doing reds. A dessert wine is a small glass of wine.
Yeah, just a few ounces too. It's perfectly fine. You don't need that much. You'll end up with a headache. And who needs a headache? Nobody needs a headache. So I'm using my Crater Lake vodka. This is the reserve bottle that I always forget is there. And then I'm going to do decaf coffee. I actually almost stopped by Starbucks to have them give me a decaffeinated espresso. I didn't have time. I was getting work done. So I just got a little sidetracked there. So I didn't really. And I'm going to do a little bit less than half an ounce. Actually, I'm going to do the half an ounce, and then I'll do the half an ounce of the cream. But no, I'm not going to do the simple syrup because that's just way too sweet. I'm not going to like it. I know me. So none of that nonsense. That's no fun. But I will use the First City Country Cream that has won various awards. So that'll give it a little bit of creaminess. If it needs a little bit more, then I'll add a little more, but I doubt it. It'll be fine. And it's supposed to be double strained. I'm not going to double strain it. I'm just not, but I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to shake, do the hokey pokey and turn myself around. So there we go. All right.
And so, I only decided to do these 2 wines and just dessert. And I really, I'm ready for dinner too, so I didn't have a dinner. And it's, it's 7:30 or 7:15 at my house. So get a little hungry. But
Life is
yeah.
uncertain. Eat dessert first.
Yeah, but I'm having dessert first tonight. So
Yeah. So see how it's already frosting?
yes.
Just from the ice. Yeah.
Sometimes, all you gotta do is put that in the freezer for like 10 minutes. You know that.
Yeah. It's frosted. So I think you all saw the post that I did at Kenny's. If your glass gets unfrosted and you haven't finished your martini, they will bring you a fresh glass and will give you a new glass, which is amazing. Pretty beautiful. And of course, my martini glasses are kind of big, so.
By the way, you like that place, Kenny's, huh?
I did. It was very yum. The food was delicious.
I seen that when it was being built, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I watched that place be built. So Kenny, the guy Kenny who runs that, remember, you ever heard of Rockfish?
Rockfish
Restaurants, seafood restaurants.
No, I don't think I have.
That was his previous restaurant chain. He sold it to Brinker.
Okay.
And then he went off and created. It was the wood fire grill he created first. Then he created Kenny's Italian, then Kenny's Burgers.
Oh yeah, I heard about the Italian and the burgers because somebody that was there was telling me about it. They're like, "Oh, yeah. Well, have you heard?" I was like, "No, I did not know this."
So, if you've heard me tell my story of my best friend Richie, who in 2003 passed away.
Yeah.
Kenny is Richie's cousin.
Oh, okay.
That's how I knew Kenny, and I knew a lot of stuff because I knew Kenny before I knew restaurants.
Oh, not too shabby. Okay, so I am going to try this with the panna cotta first. Because that is not sweet at all. I really like that. I am glad I did not put the
you got to get into trying faster because I'm like halfway done over here.
I'm a little slow sometimes. All right, I'm gonna put the cream.
So that's the other thing I did not put on my pie tonight. Usually you would have pie, you know what I mean? I could heat it and put ice cream with it, or I can put whipped cream on it.
Right.
The cherry pie, I don't want either. I want just the cherry pie.
Yeah, it'll be good that way. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of the cream in here with the panna cotta. Oh wow, that's yum. Okay, this is the Bullet old-fashioned cocktail. I always doctor it up, but I'm just gonna pour just a little bit on top. And it was just literally just a slight little pour, and one of the cherries. I'm just going to do one. I'm not going to go all out the way the recipe called. So here's my panna cotta with a little bit of whiskey at the bottom. Let's see what this tastes like. Okay. So you get the bite from the whiskey. And then because the panna cotta is not overly sweet, it does not clash. I'm going to try it now with the cherry and a little bit of the cream. The cherry just gives it a little something, something. It definitely tones down the whiskey. Most absolutely does. I think I like the bite with the cherry. That was a fun idea to do that. I think I like that. Just adding just a little, and it was a slight drizzle, y'all. It was barely a drizzle. And that, maybe a half an ounce, if that. Yeah. I don't even know if it was a half an ounce. I think it was less than that. That's pretty yummy. I like that. I'd do that again. But making panna cotta, I mean, that's a little bit of a process. Kind of like making a creme brulee or flan. It's a process. Okay. That was very yum.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot complain about that. I enjoyed that. Okay. So now I'm going to try. I'm afraid to try the plum wine because I think the plum wine, it's on its own. I don't think that needs to be paired with anything. But I'm going to.
Well, that's why I've only had plum wine, I think 1 or 2 times. I would not consider plum wine to be a dessert wine.
Really?
I would consider it to be a specialty wine.
Okay.
When you think dessert wines, number one, they are sweet. I don't think port either as a dessert wine, although port is a great wine to have with dessert.
See, I would have a port wine by itself, and I have done that. It's been a while, but I have done that.
I agree with that, and I'm saying port wine is a great wine to have with dessert, but I would not put it in the class of dessert wines. Okay. And I really haven't looked up that definition of dessert wine. What's the definition of a dessert wine?
Well, see, for me, a dessert wine is anything that's sweet.
No. We have too many sweet wines here in Texas that aren't dessert wines.
They're very true on that. Yeah. Okay.
And that's just why I can't put it in that category, because a dessert wine, all right, usually is twice as sweet as any other wine. So when you say sweet, we're talking like sugary, really sweet. Dessert wines really have that over the edge sweetness because they're usually twice as sugary or twice as
right.
Twice as syrupy, I want to say.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's what a dessert wine is. I had a wine one time that was it was wine mixed with a chocolate, and it literally was like the color of chocolate. And I thought it tasted great. The problem was I think it was like infused with like rum or something. I drank the whole freaking bottle, and my wife found me passed out on the bed hugging the bottle a couple hours later.
Oh no!
Yeah. To me, the dessert wines, all right, they're a wine. They're not a like this. Right. This is a wine. Yeah. All right. And while it has that cherry chocolate flavor to it, it's still a wine, and it's flavored dessert wine. It let's see if I can get the angle to read this guy's teeth. This wine is saturated. Is a saturated medley of ripe black cherries layered with mocha espresso.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And dark chocolate notes. So this wine was made with cherries, not grapes.
Okay.
All right, which could be and it was made and bottled in Cowtown Winery in Fort Worth, Texas. This other one, I wish I could read to you on the musket, but let's see. Essentia is unmistakably a golden, spicy orange apricot pear flavors that are balanced together. Pair with a chocolate, almond, peach, apricot, or apple desserts.
Okay.
Or cheesecake. Mix with sparkling water or champagne. And use of liqueur for cocktail. For recipes, you can visit their page, and it does have the recipes. It does say, both of these say served chilled. Okay. So these are dessert wines. So.
Okay, so.
And once you open these, once I open these wines.
You have to.
7 days, baby. After 7 days, it's no good.
True story.
Once the air has touched it, you've got 7 days to drink it.
So with this one, this chocolate pecan tart, To me, it brought out. Let me try to get the all the way to the bottom. I'm torturing this poor thing. My cherry, my orange. It brings out the spices. So it's more of a boom. You're right there. So that's what this one. Okay, I'm going to see if I can. Where did I put my water? I
know I bounced mine. So Robert's saying hello to you tonight.
Hey there.
Mark.
Hey,
Mark says anything for fans of teams who are 4-0. I'm asking for a friend.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Eagles fan, I'm sure you were watching the Cowboys tie yesterday right after his Eagles had won. So just this is what he's doing. He's going like this and then trying to get a
in Cowboys terms, isn't a tie the closest thing they can really get to a win? I'm just saying.
I think I'm being harassed. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this torture upon me.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to suck for you, all right? First of all, you have Marco who's an Eagles fan, and you have a partner who's an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have two favorite teams.
Really? The Cowboys, because we're always losing, and who else?
No, the Eagles is our utmost favorite team, and our second favorite team is whoever's playing Dallas. Cheers.
I think I'm being harassed here. Ooh, okay. So, wow.
So what else did you punch up in there?
So the espresso martini with this chocolate pecan, I'm going to have to do another bite because that was yum. That I appreciated very much. I think it went better. Let me Okay. So you got the pecan in there, not overly sweet, just enough. You got the chocolate, and then you bring in this creamy espresso martini, and it's like it has just a nice combination. It goes very well together.
Okay.
That was a nice because this is not sweet. This is sweet, but not overly sweet. It just paired very nicely. Paired very, very nicely. I think I like that a heck of a lot better than with the old fashioned, which is just sitting over here now, because that's what's going to happen to it. But there are things to consider, y'all, when you are going to be pairing desserts. It's kind of fun when I find things when I'm looking for one thing and I find something else. But there are fun ways. You got to know how to combine certain things. So when you are pairing desserts with drinks, you want to match that sweetness level. Which one, because you want to balance it. So something sweetly paired with something overly sugary drink will be overwhelming. So you don't want anything that's overly sweet, because then you want something that's going to balance out. So that's going to be important when you are doing this pairing. Okay. Then the other thing to look at is, do the flavors complement each other? And that's going to be very important, because if they don't complement, like here, they are definitely complementing each other, because you have coffee and chocolate. You can have that combination that's going to be absolutely yum together. So here it's that complement. It went well. And then you have the contrast, which I was trying to do the contrast with the old fashioned. It was just okay. It depends on what you are pairing. So it just depends. You can do a chocolate lava cake with a stout, because they're both rich and creamy and luxurious, or a lemon tart with a Riesling, because the tartness of the lemon will balance out that sweetness of the Riesling. Then, of course, then it's the texture. What is it that the drink is bringing? Is it creamy, like a mousse or a cheesecake? Well, then something bubbly, or something dense. Then you want something that has that silky beverage. So those are things to look at. Then alcoholic, non-alcoholic, coffees and herbal teas and sparkling waters. What are they going to go with versus something like a beer or wine or cocktail? And then temperature and texture, so sometimes you have to play with that temperature. Do you want something warm with something cool, and something hot, with something, icy? And so if you have that apple pie, do you want it warm or do you want it cold? And then are you going to drink it with something like something that is icy, or would you have it with the hot chocolate or with the special coffee, something like that? So those are some of the things to look at. But there was a lot of different things that I was finding. One thing that I thought about is a Manhattan with the walnut brownie. I thought that sounded absolutely delicious. I think that's very much a winter combination. Hot toddies, we're going to start getting into that weather. It already started to rain here. It's going to rain all week, with apple fritters. And then, of course, if I want something that's a little bit more spring or summer, then I would do like a sparkling with some lemon bars, or like something that's a little lemony is what that sounds more summer for me. But shortbread cookies with the White Russian, that one I think you can do year round. That's a fun one. And then the other thing that I'm going to have to think about that. I'm not a big lemon drop person. I really don't like them, but they were saying that it goes well with the creme brulee. I'm thinking, well, maybe. So that's one that I'm going to have to try. And then I think you would appreciate this, Tim, a peach cobbler with the whiskey sour.
Yeah.
So I thought that was another one, that seemed kind of interesting. So there's different things that you can do to bring some of these desserts with the cocktail. And you can always ask your bartender, what would go well? Do I want to have Oreos with a brandy Alexander? I do have Oreos, so I was considering it, but based on our conversation, I was not going to go there. But that was one thing that I was curious about, because I do like my Oreos once in a while. But I love flan, and I think that's why I like the way the bullet tasted with my panna cotta, because the panna cotta, the flan, and the creme brulees, they are all made in a similar fashion. They're slightly different, and it went very well. I thought it went great, but yet I preferred my espresso martini with my pecan dessert. So, so yeah, so those are some of the things that just check it out, try different things. We're going to start pairing some of these warmer items as we get further into fall and into winter.
Okay.
So that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
And then on my panna cotta, I did look up the history. It's been around a long time, but it originated in the Piedmont region of Italy, and it means cooked cream. And it was in the 1960s when it became popular, or it started to show up in cookbooks. It wasn't until the 1990s that it became popular. And sure enough, it was cream, sugar, and gelatin. That's what it was, pretty much. And now it's that's what you're going to find. Modern ingredients. You're going to have your cream, your milk, your sugar, vanilla, your gelatin, and then of course all the flavors. Some of them are fruit, chocolate, coffee, caramel. I know when I made a creme brulee, I made a lemon creme brulee, vanilla creme brulee, and red bell pepper creme brulee. So it's just about just playing with different ingredients. And then you can also do a milkshake and add some bourbon in there, a chocolate milkshake with bourbon in it. That would be good. I know that Red Robin, they make a milkshake that has, oh my goodness, moon something. There's orange in it. It's a beer. I can't remember the name of it, but they put beer in the milkshake. So there's various ways that you can make a dessert into a drink. So it's just, it'll have like that fun PB&J flavor to it, and it's a cocktail. So
Oh.
just try new things. Fun stuff.
Well, it's an interesting episode. I know desserts are kind of a short, really, episodes when we do them
Yeah.
because we don't have a lot in desserts. You know, what I mean, you're not cooking a meal here,
Right.
but desserts could go a lot of different ways, and there's always a drink to go with the dessert. That's the point. Is desserts is kind of the one thing on the menu that there's almost always a separate menu of drinks for.
Yes, they always bring you a separate menu dessert, and there's always a menu.
And there's always a dessert drink menu. All right. And espresso martini is almost always on almost every one of them. All right. If you go to a wine bar, which by the way, we got a new Posh and Pour wine bar coming to our town here, and I'm looking forward to that because they're going to have different wine stuff, and they'll have like I'm hoping they're going to have like cheese plate or what are the other stuff they have? They call it the little light snacks. What do they call that? Anyway.
Appetizers?
No, not appetizers. They
little bites
like little bites, and they have a name for it. I can't think of a name of what it is, but there's
botanas?
bars, huh?
Like botanas?
No, you're thinking too Mexican on me.
Botanas isn't necessarily Mexican. That could be Argentinian. Tapas, like Argentinian tapas.
That's it, tapas. Like a tapas and wine bar, and I'm hoping that's what this place is. I don't know. It's a chain. So, and then we just found out like a week ago that the sign went up and the notices came up that they're coming. So,
okay.
And it's literally right here in my little town. I could go and drink and crawl home.
Nice.
So
perfect.
Anyway, before we go tonight, a couple things. Number one, we always are trying to build our email list to do a fun events with you guys, like thewayyouDrink.com. We're calling it like the Insiders Club. It's going to be like a VIP Insiders Club where you get to go on inside tastings and stuff like that with us. Go to likthewayyouDrink.com and must be 21 to join, and please join. We would love to have you in there. And then
was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. I went to Negroni Week. It was a grand opening. I could have taken a few of you to that. That was a lot of fun. And it was so different, getting there early versus 2 hours later when all the beautiful people got there. But it was just fun. It was very fun.
But we'll have events coming up real soon. Then our businesses pay the bills around here every month, ladies and gentlemen. So Gladys and I's businesses do these little commercials about our business because we pay the bills. All right. So Gladys, why don't you tell them about your business today?
So Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I help employers become employer of choice through employee benefits. If you have staff and you're saying, how can I show them how much I care? Guess what? That's where I come in. I will help you figure that out. It can be through benefits that are medical, dental. They could be 401ks. It can be healthy snacks in the break room. There are 101 different ways that you can show your staff how much you care. And guess what? When you take care of your staff, the staff will take care of your clients, which means you're going to have repeat business and referrals. So if you would like to get on my calendar to start the conversation, go to enrollnoworegon.com. If I cannot help you in the state you're in, guess what? I probably know somebody that can. So go to enrollnoworegon.com, get on my calendar, and we'll start the conversation. And this is my co-host.
Hey, oh, sorry, man. I'm Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Websites. We do basic websites for the small business person. We're a simplistic system that gets your website up fast, keep it looking professional, maintain it for you, so you can all be all about taking care of your customers, servicing your customers' needs, and making money. All right, that's what you're in business for. So let us handle the website. Our tagline that we use at networking events is: "We build websites so good, even Google comes by to visit." So, anyway,
love it, gotta love it.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, all right, dessert wines and dessert food, dessert drinks. All right, this is what our week's all about. Next week, we'll have something else more fun, more exciting, and I promise you, we'll be back. We always are.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.